Hi, my friends. I'm so happy you chose my channel tonight again for your. But first, a story. Because who wants to go to bed without a bedtime story, right? So, since I live in a very cold country where we have snow, I need a lot of blankets, and I have a special book for you today, and is called Snowflake Bentley. So, it's about the snowflakes, and what else could it be? Do you see how different all the snowflakes are? Let's see. Snowflake Bentley is written by Jacqueline Briggs Martin and illustrated by Mary Azarian. Okay, are you all ready? Brushed your teeth? Wear your pajamas? Let's go. In the days when farmers worked with ox and sled and cut the dirt with lantern light, there lived a boy who loved snow more than anything in the world. Willie Bentley's happiest day were snowstorms. He watched snowflakes fall on his mittens and on the dried grass of Vermont farm fields, on the dark metal handle of the barn door. He said snow was as beautiful as butterflies or apple blossoms. Nice, huh? A lot of snow. He could net butterflies and show them to his older brother Charlie. That's in spring, probably. Let's see. He could pick apple blossoms and take them to his mother. And but he could not share snowflakes because he could not save them. Right? He could give his mother apple blossoms, but never snowflakes. So when his mother gave him an old microscope, he used it to look at flowers, raindrops, and blades of grass. Best of all, he used to look at snow. While other children built forts and pelted snowballs at roosting crows, Willie was catching snowflakes. Day after stormy day, he studied the icy crystals. Here he is, huh? Yeah. So next, their intricate patterns were even more beautiful than he had imagined. He expected to find whole flakes that were the same, but he never did. Willie decided he must find a way to save snowflakes so others could see their wonderful designs. For 3 winters he tried drawing snow crystals. They always melted before he could finish. The camera. I'm sorry, here it is. It was taller than a newborn calf and cost as much as his father's herd of 10 cows. Willie was sure it was the best of all cameras. So he was convinced now we can photograph the snow. Even so, his first pictures were failures, no better than shadows. Yet he would not quit. Mistake by mistake, snowflake by snowflake, Willie worked through every storm. Winter ended, the snow melted, and he had no good pictures. He waited for another season of snow. One day in the second winter, he tried a new experiment, and it worked. Willie had figured out how to photograph snowflakes. Now everyone can see the great beauty in a tiny crystal, he said. There's a photo of the snowflake. But in those days, no one cared. Neighbors laughed at the idea of photographing snow. Snow in Vermont is as common as dirt, they said. We don't need pictures of snowflakes. Willie said the photographs would be his gift to the world. While other farmers sat by the fire or rode to town with horse and sleigh, Willie studied snowstorms. He stood at the shed door and held out a black tray to catch the flakes. When he found only jumbled, broken crystals, he brushed the tray clean with a turkey feather and held it out again. He waited hours for just the right crystal and didn't notice the cold. If the shed were warm, the snow would melt. He breathed on the black tray, the snow would melt. If he twitched a muscle as he held the snow crystal on the long wooden pick, the snowflake would break. He had to work fast, or the snowflake would evaporate before he could slide into place and take its picture. Some winters he was able to make only a few dozen good pictures. Some winters he made hundreds. Wow, huh? Willie so loved the beauty of nature, he took pictures in all seasons. In the summer, his nieces and nephews rubbed coat hangers with sticky pitch from spruce trees. When Willie could use them to pick up spider webs, jeweled with water drops, and take their photos. On a fall night, he would gently tie a grasshopper to a flower so he could find in the morning and photograph the dew-covered insect. Look at this. Nice. But his snow crystal pictures were always his favorite. He gave copies away or sold them for a few cents. He made special pictures as gifts for birthdays. He held evening slideshows on the lawns of his friends. Children and adults sat on the grass and watched while Willie projected his slides onto a sheet hung over a clothesline. There. How beautiful are these snowflakes. He wrote about snow and published his pictures in magazines. He gave speeches about snow to faraway scholars and neighborhoods sky watchers. You're doing a great job, said a professor from Wisconsin. The little farmer came to be known as the world's expert on snow, the Snowflake Man. But he never grew rich. He spent every penny on his pictures. Willie said there were treasures in snow. Willie said there were treasures in snow. I can't afford to miss a single snowstorm, he told a friend. I never know when I will find some wonderful prize. When he was 66 years old, Willie's book, His Gift to the World, was published. Still, he was not ready to quit. A monument was built for Willie in the center of town. The girls and boys who had been his neighbors grew up and told their sons and daughters the story of the men who loved snow. 40 years after Wilson Bentley's death, children in his village worked to set up a museum in honor of the farmer scientist. And his book was taken the delicate snow crystals that once blew across Vermont, past mountains over the earth. Neighbors and strangers have come to know of the icy wonders that land on their own mittens thanks to Snowflake Bentley. So he never gave up on photographing the snowflakes, and he enjoyed what he did until he was old. So what he found out was that there was never a snowflake that looked exactly the same, because under the microscope where you can see it big, he could see that each little snowflake who comes down from the sky had a different pattern. And that's what he found out as a scientist, and he was the first who found this out. And this book is Snowflake Bentley. I really love this book. It is also named after my son, his name is Bentley. And since I live in a very cold country, we have snow. That was very interesting to me to find out about the snowflake patterns. So I'm very happy that you turned on my channel. But first, the story. If you like my story, I would love you to like it or even subscribe so you can see the next book which I read. And please leave a comment below from which country you are and how you like the book. It would be really interesting for me to see from where you are watching. I wish you a very good night. Sleep well wherever you are.